When the first explosion happened, we didn't really know what was going on at that point, but we knew that something had happened and that we had to leave the area pretty quickly.
I was working when my partner said, "Did you hear what happened?" And that's when I learned about the bombing.
I think my first feeling was anger.
Shocked, devastated, really.
And then to find out that one of the people killed during this tragedy happened to be one of our students.
I turned on the television. The first thing I saw was her face, and I recognized it immediately.
And I remember being really taken aback and thinking, you know, how could this happen to somebody who hasn't even started their life?
Krystle Campbell came from a wonderful family, so she's a product of tremendous people.
She was a person who always reached out to try and help others. She was a leader that brought people together.
She was a really cool girl. She was a really down-to-earth girl.
Anytime that we saw her, she always had a smile on her face.
When the bombing happened and Krystle was killed, Dick Campbell began to reflect on the fact that, you know, she was from Medford and he was from Medford. She was named Campbell, he was named Campbell. They both attended University of Massachusetts, Boston. All of those things resonated with him, and that's why Dick and Barbara created the Krystle Campbell Scholarship.
The younger generation of my Campbell family said, "That's a great thing that you've done with the scholarship. Let's make it better. Let's go out and organize a team to run, and we'll raise funds for the scholarship."
It started with a smaller group of just family, and it's blossomed into pulling runners from each one of the UMass campuses to represent what UMass is all about.
It's more than just accomplishing 26.2. It's about what you're running for.
The Krystle Campbell Scholarship is really to help empower women to follow the path that Krystle was on. Given her intellect and given her great personality, she would have been incredibly successful. And with it, she would have helped raise many other people along the way.
It took something very tragic and is trying to find some positive thing to come out of it.
Krystle Campbell's legacy is going to live on through this scholarship and through the people that it's going to affect in the years to come.
You know, running a marathon, a lot of it's mental. There were many points along the way where I kept saying, picturing her and said, I'm doing this for Krystle, I'm doing this for that cause.
It's taking education and taking Krystle's name, and it's going to be able to pay it forward to so many other families that Krystle's legacy will live on for forever.
There are lots of Krystle Campbells out there. We got to find them, and we got to empower them. We got to help them reach the heights.
I'm running not only for myself, but for a higher cause. I am running to help people in the future and to remember someone who we lost far too early.
Good evening, everybody. So honored to have all of you here. Before we begin, I'm going to ask you to please join me in a moment of silence for Krystle Campbell, Lindsay Liu, Martin Richard, Sean Collier, and all those who've been impacted by the 2013 Boston Marathon bombings. Thank you so much. I want to make sure that you know that there's plenty of pasta and all kinds of food over to my right, your left. Feel free to get up and grab it. I want you pastaed up and getting in the right mental mindset as we get ready for this marathon. And good evening again, everyone. We're so happy to have you here this evening. Welcome to Boston's great public research university, the University of Massachusetts, Boston. I am so grateful that you're joining us for our annual Krystle Campbell Scholarship presentation and marathon celebration. I'm Keith Motley, and I'm honored to serve as chancellor of this great university. And I've had the pleasure of co-hosting this forum with a member of the 2016 Run for Krystle Boston Marathon charity team, Bill Campbell, for this year. Now, Bill is the nephew of someone who's very dear to this campus. Not only is he a university trustee, Bill's uncle, Dick Campbell, is also a University of Massachusetts Boston alum, and we're so grateful for that. He is a passionate, dedicated individual, and if it wasn't for that Florida sunshine tonight, he would be here. No, that's not true. He would have been here if he could have been here tonight, but family is family. And so we're so grateful that Bill is here tonight. We're going to hear from him shortly, and Dick is he joined us via that video. Is he joining us via another video too? Okay, just that one video, right? That was him in that video. One more for him? Well, he's a double dip in something, isn't he? I'm telling you. So Dick is going to join us via a video greeting, which I'm going to play in a few minutes. He just couldn't let you do it, nephew, and get away with it, man. You know how he is. But he's so passionate about this. As you heard earlier, when Dick heard this, and it resonated with him, because not only is Krystle's last name Campbell, but also from the same hometown, and all those things that we're in, and also an alum of this great university. And so he and the family went to work, and here we are today. Today, we've gathered to celebrate one of Boston's most beloved institutions and to honor the memory of University of Massachusetts Boston alumna Krystle Campbell. 2 years ago, in the aftermath of the Boston Marathon bombing, a large crowd of faculty, staff, and students from this university came together for a service of healing and reconciliation. Our hearts were heavy as we remembered Krystle and all of the other victims. We were especially saddened to know that a beloved member of our community was taken from us. That day, then student government president Jesse Wright told us that he would present a resolution to the student government declaring the third Monday of April University of Massachusetts Boston Strong Day. The spirit of Boston Strong became a touchstone that brought so many together across our city, across our state, and across our nation. But it also brought people together around the world in response to an unspeakable tragedy. We witnessed an incredible outpouring of love, an outpouring of support, uniting friends, neighbors, and complete strangers around a common purpose, helping those whose lives were forever changed that day. We proudly declare ourselves one Boston, determined that our collective good will and would triumph over an evil and senseless act. Here at the University of Massachusetts Boston, we've made a special commitment to honor our former student, Krystle Campbell. In 2013, we awarded her a posthumous Bachelor of Arts degree. And through the Krystle Campbell Scholarship Fund, we're supporting young women like Krystle who pursue careers in business. Additionally, Krystle's legacy is also honored through the scholarship at our wonderful and beloved Dartmouth campus. And we're so grateful to partner today with them. Those who knew Krystle remember her as a hard worker, an enthusiastic learner who worked to overcome obstacles, a loving daughter and a loving sister, and a kind and a generous friend who was always there to support others. When we met, her parents told me how proud she was to have been a student here at this university. Like all of us, Krystle knew that finding the resources to pay for college is a challenging thing, especially for our many first-generation college students. Scholarships can make a real difference, a source of financial support that enables them to focus on their studies and alleviate their worries about paying for tuition. I have no doubt that this young woman would be especially pleased to know that a scholarship in her name will perpetuate her caring and generous nature as it supports students at her alma mater. As you saw in the video, the catalyst behind the Krystle Campbell Scholarship is University of Massachusetts trustee Dick Campbell. This Medford native was inspired to act when he learned that he and Krystle shared those common bonds that I mentioned earlier. They were products of the same neighborhood, products of Medford High School and the University of Massachusetts Boston. Although not related to Krystle, Dick and his wife, Barbara, and his family felt a kinship with her and great empathy for her family on losing a vibrant, energetic, and a beautiful daughter. They were inspired to pay tribute to her. They have provided initial funding for the scholarship, and in 2014, launched our inaugural Run for Krystle Marathon team. Thanks to the generosity of the Campbells, the runners, and all the supporters of the scholarship fund, we raised more than $500,000. Give yourselves a round of applause. It warms my heart to think about all the students that this generosity is going to create a scholarship and support. That is an amazing, amazing thing. It's now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, University of Massachusetts trustee and founder of the Krystle Campbell Scholarship Fund, Dick Campbell. So he's coming to us, as was mentioned in this video greeting right here.
Good evening, everyone. I am so sorry that I'm unable to join you tonight. I really look forward to this very special occasion and regret that I can't be there in person. This evening, we honor the memory of Krystle Campbell, a fellow UMass Boston graduate who lost her life in the 2013 Boston Marathon bombings. But tonight, we look to the future, as she would insist that we do. Through the scholarship fund in her name, the University of Massachusetts provides educational opportunities for students like Krystle who are interested in pursuing a career in business. Let me take a moment to acknowledge Bill Campbell, who will help present the scholarship tonight. Bill has been involved since the very beginning, and next week will be running the marathon on behalf of Krystle for the third time. I don't know how he does it, but he's amazing. I'm grateful to him and to the rest of my family for all they have done to help us honor Krystle and further the academic careers and professional ambitions of University of Massachusetts students. Let me also thank those of you here and the numerous family, friends, and supporters of our 2014, 2015, and 2016 Boston Marathon charity teams who have contributed to this scholarship fund. My wife and life partner, Barbara, and I join with Krystle's family in thanking you for your incredible generosity and your enthusiasm. This scholarship fund has the Campbell name on it, and most importantly, it has a huge community of support behind it. Given Krystle's generous, caring nature, her tremendous work ethic, and her ambition, she would have gone on to do tremendous things. It's that dedication, passion, and spirit that this scholarship celebrates. And it's my hope that our University of Massachusetts Krystle Campbell scholars will continue to honor her memory as they pursue their dreams. We also have a big goal for the Krystle Campbell Scholarship Fund. We're looking to establish a $1 million endowment to ensure a permanent source of financial aid for future generations of students. Prior to this year's marathon, we had raised just under $500,000. To date, this year's Run for Krystle Marathon team has raised more than $60,000. My heartfelt thanks and congratulations go out to all 15 of the team members for your dedication. Way to go, Team Campbell. We'll continue to raise additional funds this year through future Boston Marathon charity teams. If you'd like to make a contribution, you can do so online by visiting umb.edu/runforkrystle. You can choose to support the entire team or one of our 2016 Boston Marathon runners. I'd also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the 2016 Krystle Campbell Scholarship Award recipients, UMass Boston Jr. Eva Leibbrandt and UMass Dartmouth Jr. Charmagne Loyola. I was greatly impressed by your achievements and confident that you have wonderful careers ahead of you. Thanks also to Chancellor Motley, Gina Capello, and most especially Heather Brigham at UMass Boston, who have been so supportive of the Campbell Scholarship fundraising efforts. While I have always been proud to be a UMass Boston graduate, I'm most especially honored to be associated with the Krystle Campbell Scholarship Fund. On behalf of my family and Krystle's, I extend our gratitude to all of you who have helped us honor the memory of this promising young woman and support educational opportunity at the University of Massachusetts. Enjoy tonight's program. And good luck to each of you running next week. Go Beacons!
So you could tell him he swooped in, he did his thing, he was intense, and we got us ready to go. We're so grateful to him. So it's now my pleasure to introduce one of the young men who has been running in this process from his very beginning, Dick's nephew and our event co-host, Bill Campbell. Now, you know, Bill is part of the family. Not only is he part of the Campbell family, he's also part of the University of Massachusetts family. He's a University of Massachusetts Lowell graduate, and he's a Dudley, Massachusetts resident and a planning manager at TJX Companies. This year, he will run the third time in the Boston Marathon in the Run for Krystle team. During this time, he has raised nearly $40,000 for the scholarship fund. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2016 Marathon team's MVP, Bill Campbell. Come on up, Bill.
Tough act to follow. And as Chancellor Motley just said, you know, the young man, and of course my daughter Sydney just looked at my wife, said, "Young man? I don't think so." Thank you, Chancellor Motley. You know, I'm really honored to be here this evening to represent my family, my uncle, and to represent my other family, which is the Run for Krystle team. You guys mean a lot to me. And also like to thank the Campbell family, Krystle's parents, for allowing us to run in her memory, because without her and without them, none of this would be possible. And a quick shout out to our team captain over there, Heather, who has kept us on point with the emails, making sure that we were doing everything that we needed to do, and keeping us honest and true to our source of fundraising. But today is an absolutely great day. Team, my fellow teammates, this is what we're here for today. This is the reason why we signed up 6 months ago. Today is the day that we get to pay it forward. Right from the start, we understood that this journey was much more than just running the Boston Marathon. You know, we recognize that we have an opportunity to continue Krystle's legacy through this scholarship. That's what makes this team so special. We are changing the lives of students here at UMass. This scholarship is opening doors for first-generation college students like Krystle and my uncle. This scholarship fund in her name will help future Krystle Campbells get a good foundation they need for future careers in business. On a more personal note, and as a graduate of UMass Lowell, I'm so proud to be part of a fundraising effort that has brought together so many people from across the University of Massachusetts system. It has been inspiring to me to see how this idea to honor Krystle Campbell and support UMass students took off over the past 3 years. In our own small way, we have taken a tragic event and created something special that will live on forever. Speaking to my teammates right now, I might get a little emotional. We have logged a lot of miles over the last 16 plus weeks. We've suffered some injuries and we've dealt with some aches and pains. We've laughed a lot and probably shed more tears than we like to admit, but it's all been worth it. In 1 week, we are going to be running the granddaddy of all races, the Boston Marathon. Over 26.2 miles. Most of us will have our challenges, maybe except for Renee. But when you hear your name called out, better yet, when you hear Krystle's name, it will lift you up. It will push you along, and I guarantee you, you will get to the finish line. Thank you for inspiring me every day and for being part of Krystle's journey. And on behalf of my uncle and all my fellow team members, I'd like to thank everyone here, our families and friends who have supported us and supported the Krystle Campbell Scholarship Fund. Without you, none of this would be possible. Special thanks to my wife and my family. Leaving on Saturday mornings and going off for 4 or 5 hours, it's not easy. But she knows the drill. This is the 3rd year, and it's been an amazing support. So, on to the reason why we're here. Today is a great day. And, you know, we get to meet the scholarship winners. It is now my honor to present this year's scholarships. And hopefully I won't butcher your name, so bear with me. Our first recipient is Eva Leibbrandt. She is a junior in the College of Management here at UMass Boston. And I'd like Eva to come up and join me. Eva is a resident of Concord. She is pursuing a degree in management with a concentration in marketing and has earned a cumulative GPA of 3.987. Now, Eva, if you had Professor Dyson and he was the one who kept you from a perfect 4.0, maybe you and I can have a talk with him after. But during her undergraduate career, she has had 3 internships, including roles at Logistics in Santiago, Chile, and in entertainment marketing at Puma North America's offices in Hollywood. Most recently, she discovered an opportunity to combine her passion for marketing and interest in exercise through her internship at the indoor cycling studio, Soul Cycle. Eva has led fundraising benefits for community organizations like the Boys and Girls Club of Maynard and the Pine Street Inn. On behalf of all the supporters of the Krystle Campbell Scholarship Fund and Chancellor Motley, it is my honor to present you with the Krystle Campbell Scholarship. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So why don't we come on down here, all of us?
You get in the middle. And now, Eva, would you like to say a few words? Yeah, let me get out of your way.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Eva. I'd like to take this moment to express how thankful I am for being the Krystle Campbell Scholarship recipient. Although I didn't know Krystle Campbell personally, she was actually the cousin of one of my brother's good friends, John Riley. And I'm so happy to have taken the time to speak with John about Krystle, and I learned she was such an incredibly caring, nice, thoughtful, supportive individual, and I know she would have done such amazing things with her life. For those reasons, I'm so proud to be receiving the scholarship in her name, because it's really meaningful to me for that reason. She went to this school. I feel like we have so much in common, especially knowing her family. I feel really connected to her. This scholarship also motivates me to push even harder to set new goals for my life and do what I truly believe in. I would like to thank the family of Krystle Campbell. I would also like to thank Trustee Campbell for starting this incredible scholarship fund. And I would also love to thank the Run for Krystle marathon team for chasing their dreams, doing what they believe in, and supporting such an amazing cause. And lastly, I would also like to thank Mary O'Brien, alumna of College of Management, for being here today and taking the time and for delivering these keynote remarks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Get to hang that in your bedroom wall. Now it's my pleasure to present the Krystle Campbell Scholarship to UMass Dartmouth's Charmagne Loyola. I'd like to ask Charmagne, and you can come right up. Now, is your professor here as well? Is Professor Curran here? Professor Curran here?
Doctor.
Dr. Curran? Okay, Dr. Kern, Catherine Kern, would you like to come up as well?
Dr. Kern.
A junior in the Carleton College of Business, Charmagne is majoring in marketing with a minor in management information systems and holds a 4.0 GPA.
Yes.
That's awesome. 4.0. You certainly didn't have Professor Dyson. Yeah, Professor Dyson. He's one of our runners, and he's become really a dear friend. This year, she received UMass Dartmouth Center for Marketing Research Scholarship. Outside the classroom, she is a member of the Asian Student Association and enjoys engaging in social media, entrepreneurship, photography, modeling, and fashion. Prior to relocating to Massachusetts, Charmagne attended Windward Community College in Hawaii and volunteered as a translator for immigrant children seeking psychological counseling. She looks forward to a career in marketing management. Charmagne, on behalf of the supporters of the Krystle Campbell Scholarship Fund in UMass Dartmouth Interim Chancellor Helm, it is my honor to present you with the Krystle Campbell Scholarship. Congratulations. Okay, Charmagne, it's your turn.
As you can tell, I'm a terrible public speaker, so I brought a piece of paper. I'm not as wonderful as Eva, but I'm gonna try. Okay. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. No amount of words can describe how overjoyed and thankful I am for this scholarship. And I'm very thankful to receive a scholarship like this because it's in honor of Krystle Campbell. I may not have known her personally, but I remember the day that I saw what happened on the news, and it listed all the people that were lost, and Krystle Campbell sadly was one of them. And it really hit close to home because Krystle Campbell and I had a lot of similarities, and this means a lot to me because I really want to do good in her honor, especially in her name. Let me begin by expressing my thanks to the whole entire Campbell family for bringing everyone together today and for allowing me this scholarship, and especially allowing me to do something so great as this, because there's a lot of pressure. And I also want to thank the 2016 marathon team for all your incredible sacrifices and all the things that you've done to make this all happen. Thank you. And I'm actually hoping to join you guys next year. Yeah. And I'm humbled to stand before you tonight because even though there's only one person standing here, there's actually a lot of students at my school who deserve this gift as well. And students at UMass Dartmouth, they dare to dream big dreams because of the amazing professors at my school. And I'm just so thankful to be nominated by them because this is a really prestigious scholarship, you see, and it could have been anyone, and I'm just glad that I guess God is telling me it's time for me to step up and really take the plate and do this in honor of Krystle. Moreover, I want to express my sincerest appreciation for the faculty and staff of the Charlton College of Business, especially Dr. Catherine Kern. She's amazing. If you go to UMass Dartmouth, this is the professor you'd like to see. She's here with me today in support of me, and she's not only cultivated her students with the seeds of wisdom and knowledge, but she continues to mold her students every day to excel indefinitely inside and outside of her classroom. So can we just give a hand for my Dr. Kern? I'm a terrible public speaker, guys, I'm sorry. But I'd also like to recognize the support of my own family, some of whom are with me tonight. My husband, Marine Corps veteran Sergeant Ellison Wynn, my brother-in-law, Veteran Sergeant Chung Win, and my beautiful sister-in-law, First Lieutenant Vanessa Bravo Win. And this scholarship means a lot to us because they grew up in Medford all their lives. They went to the same high school as Krystle, and this really, like I said, hits close to home for us. And with this scholarship in her honor, I will continue her legacy by pursuing a life of learning for the both of us. I genuinely do value the opportunity that I've been given because I believe in what Krystle stood for, a life of learning and passion. I set my sights on becoming an influential professional just like her, so I may impact lives just as she has impacted thousands. Once more, I wholeheartedly thank all of you, each and every one of you, for being here today, for allowing me this prestigious scholarship. It really does gratify me that I've been given a chance to celebrate Krystle's beautiful life and persevere through an academic marathon in her name. Whether it's school or work or with my peers, I will continue to strive for excellence in her honor until we reach the finishing line. Thank you all very much.
How about those unbelievable students, huh? Put your hands together for them. What a wonderful opportunity it is for us to be in this environment with both of you. We're so honored as your faculty and as members of these two communities which make up this one university to sort of see you today. What a setup. I'm not a public speaker. Come on. Both of you were tremendous. And, you know, the bottom line is you came from two different directions in your approach to this speech tonight, and they were both amazing. Thank you. And you both spoke from your hearts, so thank you so much for that. I also want to thank those who had anything to do with putting together this event, those who prepared the food over here, all those who've been working so diligently to make sure that this event comes off, our crack team back there with all the technology and up here in the front who made this happen, thank you so much. I also want to say to the young man who came up here before me, Bill, you got a lot of passion, man, from your uncle and all that, and I love to see that emotion that came up during that presentation. Could feel it. We know this is something that's really special to you, and it's just like the individual who's been behind us all night, Krystle, in that beautiful picture. You know, one of the things about his uncle is that he wanted to make sure we captured Krystle. And so he went all over the country and ended up in England somewhere and found an artist that could really capture this picture. And when you see this actual picture, which is hanging in a room that we couldn't take it out of because we were having a major event in that room today that was about conflict resolution. And so we didn't want to get into conflict with those folks by taking out Krystle's picture because we know it sort of guides that conversation and those kinds of things. So we're so grateful to Dick for making that extra step. So Eva and Charmagne, thank you so much. You guys were wonderful. Congratulations to you. So you've seen what we've been developing on campus, but now you're about to understand what happens once you have the opportunity to take not one, but two of these wonderful degrees and then go off and celebrate your life, but never forget where you came from, always looking forward, always trying to make a difference. It's my pleasure now to introduce our keynote speaker and most distinguished graduate of the University of Massachusetts, Boston, Mary Creedon O'Brien, ladies and gentlemen. So, she's Vice President of Global Marketing at Saucony. Now listen, you know, I got a 17 4 EE extra long. We'll talk later. All right? She oversees strategy and execution, so I know she could handle that problem for me. Of all brand-related marketing programs, including advertising, promotions, and brand partnerships. Additionally, she serves as a member of the board of the directors of Saucony Run for Good Foundation, which helps combat childhood obesity by providing financial support to community-based youth running programs. Previously, she worked for 15 years at Reebok International and also held senior leadership roles at Rika and the First Years. She earned both a Bachelor of Science degree in physical education with a specialization in business and industry and an MBA from the University of Massachusetts, Boston. We are so thrilled to welcome her back to her alma mater this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Creedon O'Brien. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow. That's the best introduction I've ever had. Thank you so much. And could I just ask the runners to raise their hands? I get the feeling most of them are over here. Okay. Great. Great. Well done. Congratulations on the fundraising. All the hard work is behind you. Well, almost all of it, but more to come next week, right? Okay, so as you just heard, I have strong connections to UMass Boston and to running, and this was such a great opportunity for me to kind of connect the two and how they've played roles in my journey. So I chose this image to be kind of my backdrop because it reminds me that the journey is usually not a straight path. So there's usually lots of twists and turns, and students, you'll find that out. Some of us more seasoned veterans maybe already know that. But I want to take you back to the beginning of my journey. And it started quite some years ago in the recess yard at St. John's Elementary School in Winthrop, right across the harbor. 20 or so 10-year-old girls playing tag, vicious games of tag, actually. And at the end, there would usually be, two remaining competitors, me and my, at the time, rival, Patrice. Let's just call her Patrice. I don't want to get in any trouble. But, we would trade victories for, the next 5 or so years. And in full disclosure, she probably won more times than me. But what we really learned at that time was, that's when I really grew a real true love for running. That was kind of the beginning of it. And what we didn't realize at the time is we were really learning self-esteem, confidence, and the fun of competition. So fast forward a little bit to, Winthrop High School. And when I started at Winthrop High School, there was no girls' track team. So we started a running club for the girls. And luckily, the following year, Title IX was enacted, which gave equal funding to girls' sports. And that gave us a girls' track team. And at that point, we were literally off and running in our fancy track uniforms. So after high school, I went to junior college and joined the workforce. And at that time, my life kind of centered around running, my social life. My friends were running friends. My shoes were running shoes. And my weekends were spent running races and with post-race celebrations. So a lot of fun. But at that time, I had the great fortune to make the acquaintance of Bill Squires. Does anybody know who he is? All right. Great. So Bill Squires was a professor of health science at Boston State College for 18 years. And for those of you who don't know, Boston State College merged with UMass Boston in 1982. And while he was the head coach at Boston State, he led his teams to 49 championships. 49 in 18 years. Amazing numbers. And he himself was named NCAA Coach of the Year 3 times. He also, at that time, he founded the Greater Boston Track Club. And he coached Bill Rogers to his victory in the 1975 Boston Marathon, where he was the first American to break 2:10 in the marathon. So some really amazing credentials. And in 1979, 4 of the top 10 finishers were his runners from the Greater Boston Track Club. So amazing career that he had, but what I remember him for most was his advice to me, and that was, go back and finish your degree. So he always felt, I had the associate's degree. He always insisted and repeated to me, go back and get the paper. Go back and finish. And I listened, and I did. I enrolled at Boston State. It merged with UMass while I was there. And just to prove it, I did get my Bachelor of Science. He became my professor of health science, and as you already heard, I received my bachelor's degree in health science, exercise science. So from there, it turned out an opportunity opened after I graduated, and that was an administrative assistant at Saucony. Not a very glamorous role by any means, but I really saw it as an opportunity. And, an opportunity to work in a company and in a business that I was passionate about. So I took it. And at the same time, it reminded me of another quote from Bill Squires. He was featured in an article in Runner's World in 1982. And the quote that they attributed to him there was, "Success is that place on the road where preparation and opportunity meet. But too few people recognize it because it comes disguised as sweat and work." Now, I'm sure a lot of you are going through a lot of sweat and work right now and have been for the last few months, and as students, not just runners. But, I kept that in mind. I took that to heart. And in my administrative assistant role at Saucony, I looked for opportunities. And I found opportunities to make improvements, to solve problems, opportunities to add value wherever I could. And ultimately, it paid off. I was promoted to a marketing role. And a few years later, I joined Reebok. And while I was at Reebok, I looked for opportunities. I said yes to opportunities. I worked in sales. I worked in product marketing. I even worked in their international division, being based in Amsterdam for 4 years. And I can tell you that the Heineken tastes better over there. But ultimately, I was laid off from Reebok. It was one of those unexpected turns in the road, after quite a while there. And that's what I really saw as another opportunity. I had always thought about getting my MBA, but working so hard, I kind of never was able to put the time aside to do it. And I had a kind of a vision for next phase of my career. I was thinking I would like to teach college and consult. So while I was doing a little bit of both of those, I spent my nights right here, not in this building, this wasn't there, but I spent my nights for 3 years on the UMass Boston campus getting my MBA. And lo and behold, after I graduated, another job opened up at Saucony, and it was the vice president of global marketing. And this time, I was fully prepared, thanks to my newly minted MBA, and stepped into the role with confidence and with really feeling that I could make a difference there. It was a great opportunity to work with a brand, a real living brand, and help shape its future. So I want to share with you a few things that we've done since I've been there.
I guess in the sense I was born to run. Early on, not a lot of people were running. By mid-82, 83, 84, there was the groundswell in running. There was an incredible loyalty to Saucony. When people put the Saucony shoes on and stood up, they would say, yes, that's the shoe I want, that's the shoe I want. I had done everything I could to prepare for the race of my life. This was the moment that I had lived for. Mile 25, I was the hunter, and he was the hunted. Yes, I was catching him. I ran, and I ran, and I won.
2:07 unofficially, and he hits the pavement at the end.
That was narrated by Rod Dixon. So he won the 1983 New York City Marathon in one of the most epic battles ever in a marathon. So it's kind of inspiring. He was a sponsored athlete of Saucony at the time, and we still work with him as an ambassador for us. He is very active in getting elementary school children up and running and fighting childhood obesity. So he's still on our team. So that's marketing. That's how you put 100 years of history into 2 minutes, but that's something you marketing students will learn. But just to talk about a little bit about Saucony now and in the past, 8 or so years. So we took a good look at the brand about, say, 7 years ago. And what we found was we had a good following among loyal runners, serious runners. And we also had a good following among women because we had a fit in our shoes that women particularly liked, which was great by itself, but it kind of alienated male customers at times because they felt, oh, those are shoes, for my wife. And then finally, we could probably have been described, if we're being truly honest, as a sleepy little New England brand. We hadn't made a lot of noise in the marketplace, and that really made us mad to be considered that, so because we're very competitive at Saucony. So we set out, we knew we had to go and really do some good deep dive and some research and talk to runners and find out, a couple of things. So we had 3 questions. We went out, we spoke to hundreds of runners at marathons and in parks where they congregated to run, running clubs, et cetera. And we asked them 3 questions. The first one, when runners think of Saucony, what do they think? You run, why do you run? And then what unites runners? And what we found out was, number one, people thought Saucony makes great shoes. And that was the end of it, though. We didn't connect with anybody beyond their feet. We had no emotional connection to them, and the brand didn't really stand for anything. Secondly, that a big part of why runners run is the camaraderie. To be around other runners, the social aspect of it, the friendships that develop, and to talk about running, and to hang out with other runners. And finally, what unites runners was that the running experience is very personal and even can be transformational. And I'm sure some of you marathon training team are experiencing that now. So based on some of these learnings, what these hundreds of runners told us, we knew that we had to try to stand for something more. And so we worked on a mission statement and a reason for being for us. And we came up with empowering the human spirit through running. And we wanted to connect on a more emotional level with runners and be part of encouraging them on their journey. And the way we brought that to life in a campaign was with 3 simple words, and that was find your strong. And this is a campaign that we launched in 2011 with the idea of really a call to action to runners to really find your strong. So I'll share with you our very first TV commercial is how we launched this.
What is strong? Is it muscle or something more? Is it measured in miles or milliseconds? Is it your best time or your worst day? Maybe strong is just what you have left when you've used up all your weak.
brought the Find Your Strong message to life across all our marketing channels, TV, events, and social media. So this was around 2009, and social media was really taking off, and that was a place where runners could extend that camaraderie and extend the storytelling with other runners all over the world. So that really helped enable the conversation. And we learned a lot from that conversation. We learned that Find Your Strong can mean different things to different people. For some, it might be, you're at the 20th mile of a marathon and you really need to dig deep to find your strong and get through the rest of it. And for others, it's just getting out the door in the morning, and I know we've all probably experienced that, but it takes that little bit of extra digging kind of deep to get going. And in 2015, we evolved the campaign a little bit. Throughout our conversations with runners, one of the things we found was that all runners are seeking something. So whether it's, to break the 9-minute mile, to win a gold medal, to be able to eat, guilt-free, eat cupcakes, or, something even more noble, raising money for a great cause like the Run for Krystle team here tonight. But motivations are all different. But we felt that the one thing is true, you can't find your strong if you're not looking for it. And so we evolved the campaign a little bit to be more encouraging to runners as opposed to ordering them to find their strong. So a little bit more inviting. And we launched that this past year, and I'm going to share one more video with you on that. And what we decided to do was highlight some different runners, each with a really unique perspective, each seeking something totally different from their running. So we did a series of videos this year in our campaign. Everything from the woman on the left, we call her the running astronomer. So she's a PhD in the UK, marathon runner, studying dark matter. And that's one thing I didn't learn at UMass, but that was by choice. But she goes out to run to clear her head and kind of frame up the questions that she needs to ask in her studies, in her research. We also highlighted a foraging chef, Eduardo Garcia, who now has a television show on one of the food networks. And he had a terrible accident while he was out foraging at one point where he lost his arm and he had an electric charge go through his body. But he runs, he doesn't even call himself a runner. He runs the Empire State Building race, to the top every year, raising money for challenged athletes. And he runs, he goes out just, again, part of it is the raising money, but also it's just part of who he is and what he does. And the one in the middle here, his name is Mads Christensen. He's a Danish rock musician. He has a band called Reptile Youth. And he literally composes his music on the run. So he'll go out with his iPhone and tap in a tune or a rhythm or lyrics that he comes up with. He's very inspired by the sounds of the city. And then he'll go back to his studio and finish up his song. So again, a fantastic runner, but he's using it to kind of empower the rest of his life. And has anybody heard of the oatmeal comic? Good. Yeah. Extremely popular. He's a very celebrated cartoonist. But did you know he was a great runner, too? He's an ultra-marathoner. He's written several books, one of them about running. He calls it The Wonderful and Terrible Reasons Why I Run. So I thought I'd finish with his video. All the others can be found on our website if you're interested. But he has a totally different take on running, and it just really helps show the different motivations that people have.
I used to have this idea that if I stopped running, this like mid-run, if I stopped, this sort of overweight, sad version of myself, which was following me, would catch me and I would become it. And that's what ended up becoming the Blurch.
Hi, my name's Bunky, and this is a film about Matthew Inman. This is his mom, Anne. This is his dad, Dennis. And this is them on their wedding day, and together they created Matthew. Gross. This is Matthew in 1989. He was 7. He loved to eat hot dogs growing up in Idaho. This is Matthew in 1993. This is Matthew with his brother. This is Matthew's 6th grade girlfriend who left him for his brother.
You know, I was deeply in love with her. I may even still love her. I don't know.
This is the house he grew up in with 17 cats before it burned down, along with the cats.
So that was kind of sad, but at least I didn't have to clean the litter box anymore.
These are all the things he saved from the fire. What 5 words would you use to describe yourself back then?
Mullet, fat, insecure, creative, hungry.
Matthew spent a lot of time in front of computers as a kid.
Kind of hunched over with that T-Rex sort of physique happening. I started running when I was 23 years old. It's one of the very few things I can do that gives me kind of a sense of peace. But when people think of runners, they think that I wake up and I do Pilates and then I have kale for breakfast. No, I wake up and I'm running because I have a hangover and I had like corn dogs for breakfast.
These are the things around Matthew's house. This is his dog, Rambo. He made a game called Exploding Kittens. He also created a comic, The Oatmeal, as well as written some books and painted these paintings. And he's also pretty well known on the internet.
They call us celebrities with a W, which is the worst thing I've ever heard. I wish I could tell you I ran because it's good for my heart, but really I run so that I can eat birthday cake.
This is Matthew eating birthday cake in a Blurch suit.
The Blurch came together while I was running. It became this little fat cherub with wings who floats behind me, and it became my spirit animal of sorts.
Matthew's 32, but thinks he'll be a curmudgeon at 62.
I will say this though, I want to be one of those leathery old guys who still runs crazy marathons and is super fit. I want to be happy and healthy.
Back to preparation and opportunity. Charmagne, Eva, and all the other students here, use the time well to prepare for your future. You never know what opportunities will come in your journey. And runners, just think next week at this time, you will be celebrating the place where preparation and opportunity met. Good luck, and thank you.
Put your hands together. What a wonderful, wonderful presentation. Mary Creedon O'Brien. I loved in the commercial before the other one, I heard that U2 kind of music going on in the background. That was amazing. The beat was pretty nice. Wasn't that terrific? Now, we don't allow you to leave here without first of all saying thank you to you, how proud we are of you, and how grateful we are for your time. And while we can't give you a whole lot, we want to give you some University of Massachusetts Boston swagger to remember us by and to take with us. So thank you so much. So grateful to you. It's now my pleasure to recognize the members of the 2016 Run for Krystle Boston Marathon charity team. Runners, please come forward and join me up here. Come on up. Let's give them a round of applause as they come. Runners, come on up. Family can come up with you. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, that's right. You can come. Give them another round of applause. So let me tell you about this year's team. Made up of 15 runners, including alumni, faculty, staff, friends of the university. Each has been working diligently over the past 5+ months to train for the marathon and fundraise for the scholarship. You heard they raised over $60,000 so far. They've been running on their own, as well as training together on Saturday mornings at the crack of dawn. You heard Bill talking about leaving the house and going out for 4 hours and just being out somewhere doing his thing. And that his bride was okay with that. What a wonderful thing. Along the way, they've gotten tremendous moral support from friends, family, and many of whom are with us this evening, so let's give them a round of applause for all their wonderful things. They run over 500 miles each. You heard that it's 40,000 steps for a marathon? Okay. And they plan fundraisers and ask family, friends, and anybody they could track down for their financial support. As of today, I mentioned they raised over $60,000. What an accomplishment. We are so honored by you. So thank you, Bill, Bianca, Stephanie, Peter, Paul, Julie, Suzanne, Rhonda, Nora, Jen, Beth, Renee, Kara, Nicole, and Erica. Give you a round of applause to them. Now, thank you all for everything you've done to support students. You can see your results. Isn't that amazing? In the beginning, it was just a dream that we had. And now it's such a reality. It's real, and we're so grateful to you all for stepping up and making sure that it's happened. Thank you so much. And so, we know you're going to do well on Monday. And we know that you're all winners, and so we have some appreciation gifts for each of you. They're going to, Heather is going to come up and present those gifts. To each and every one of you. Heather, you're good. You're working it out. She's got the names on the bags, and she knows where to put them and all that. See, they had in the program, Chancellor pass out gifts. Thank you all. This is so wonderful. I appreciate you guys. Who's doing it for the first time? Who's running their first marathon? Anyone? You'll be okay. You got a great companions to be with along the way. So, I also want to bring up our Krystle Campbell Scholars, Mary Creedon O'Brien, and Professor Curran. Come on up. We're going to do a group photo over here. We're setting that up. While we're gathering for the group photo, I want to say that this is going to conclude our program. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We invite you to help us root on the Run for Krystle Marathon team next Monday. We're setting up a special tent in Newton. It's going to be at the corner of Commonwealth Avenue and Temple. That's a coveted corner, okay? But we're going to be there. Stop by, bring your loudest cheering voice. Know that we're going to be right there. And you guys know that right at Commonwealth when you come down to Temple, we're going to be all right there ready to cheer you on. So